This is part 2 of Chapter 5. Paralanguage is using your voice to communicate the things about your voice that don't include the language or the words. So the pitch of your voice is how high it might be or how low. That's pitch. Volume, of course, is whether you're speaking in a whisper or whether you're shouting at someone. That's your volume. Rate has to do with, how fast you talk. Are you a fast talker? Can you do this really quick? Or if you're pretty slow and measured when you speak. That's the rate. Okay, the quality or the timbre is really, it's just the sound of a person's voice. And then intonation has to do with how you put inflection on various words. If your voice is, some people might describe voices as melodic because there seems to be a rhythm to it. That's intonation. And then we have vocalized pauses. So as an example, I have a short video to show you about paralanguage. I think.
It's not much. It's hard.
I think it's brilliant. Where have you been? Harry, how wonderful to see you, dear. Bed's empty, no note, car gone. You could have died. You could have been seen. Of course, I don't blame you, Harry, dear.
Your scar is legend. As, of course, as the wizard who gave it to you.
Voldemort killed my parents. He was nothing more than a murderer.
You must be very brave to mention his name. Or very foolish.
Fear of a name only increases fear of the thing itself.
And you must be Miss Granger.
You were seen by no less than 7 muggles. Do you have any idea how serious this is? You have risked the exposure of our world. Not to mention the damage you inflicted on a whomping willow that's been on these grounds since before you were born.
Training for the ballet, Potter.
Listen. Terrible things are about to happen at Hogwarts. Harry Potter must not stay here now that history is to repeat itself. Repeat itself? You mean this has happened before? I shouldn't have said that.
Then we come to vocalized pauses. So these are the ums and the yeah and okay. I have a friend who, it seems like every third word is okay. They're called non-fluencies or vocal interference. Everybody uses an or an ah from time to time. The problem is when your speech is filled with them. If you listen to yourself, if you record yourself giving a presentation, you can pick out those ums and ahs when you listen to it afterwards. It's difficult to do as you are delivering a speech, but if you record it, you can go back and find them. Okay, proxemics has to do with space. You've heard the word, oh, it's in the general proximity of such and such. It just has to do with space. Personal, territorial, acoustic, and then we'll also talk about artifacts. So personal space is the distance you try to maintain when you're talking to someone. You know, maybe an arm's length apart is what's normal for personal space. Territorial space is the physical space over which you kind of claim ownership. Acoustic space is the area in which you can be heard, where your voice can be heard. And then artifacts are the objects and possessions that we display that say something about us. Do you know any personal space invaders, people that just get too close to you when you're talking? I've got a short video about that. Oh, where's my video? Okay, we've got the video coming up in another slide or two, but these space needs. So an intimate space is about 18 inches, 1.5 feet. And of course, if you're intimate with someone, you're going to be within that 18 inches. But you know, you might be sitting and chatting. Let's say that you're in a theater with, you know, your favorite aunt, and you're within 1.5 feet and you're chatting. That's your intimate distance. So with people that you're very, very close to. Personal distance, 1.5 to 4 feet generally. You've got social distance, it's 4 to 12 feet. And then the public is, you know, 12 to 25 or maybe a little bit beyond that. Now, what's important to remember is that these spatial needs can vary by culture. So keep that in mind when you are talking to folks that maybe they're from another country and they treat their spatial needs a little bit differently. And it's always a matter of personal preference as well. Here's my video on somebody who invades personal space.
So, Elaine, you don't have a problem with her, do you?
We adore Elaine.
She wants to say hi. She's with her new boyfriend.
What's he like?
He's nice, bit of a close talker.
A what?
You'll see.
Oh, this is Erin.
Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Aaron.
So how long are you folks in town?
3 more days, and then we're off to Paris.
We're going with the select charter group.
I love France. I was just there last year. In fact, you know, I still have an envelope full of French francs. I'll give them to you.
We can't take money.
Oh, no, it's a gift from us.
Oh, that is so nice, Erin. Isn't he nice? So listen, has Jerry been showing you a good time?
No, I haven't.
You know, I have a friend who works at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. How'd you like a behind-the-scenes tour?
Really?
Maybe you could do that.
Easily.
It wouldn't be any trouble?
Of course not. How about right now?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, let me get my coat.
Elaine, what do you say?
Well, I don't think so, Erin. I have plans.
Oh. How about you, Jerry?
I'm swamped.
Sure. Could examine the artwork up close.
Maybe I'll try and catch up with you.
Bye-bye.
Hey. Oh, you must be Kramer. I've heard about you.
Okay, I think that pretty much illustrates the concept of people invading your personal space. Territorial space has to do with claiming your area. You know, how often do you go somewhere and someone has, you know, row of chairs and somebody put a backpack down over here and a drink over here, and they're just claiming this entire area. Well, that's one way to communicate. You're communicating your territorial space. I would go into meetings and people would put all their stuff all around them at the table, so you really couldn't get too close. Another example of territorial space. So there are ways that physical space, physical distance defines power. The size of a space, the exclusivity of that area, and how a space is used oftentimes can reflect the power that's at play. Greater power and lesser social power. Okay, now let's talk about artifacts. So take a look at this picture of President Obama's desk and credenza in the Oval Office. He has a lot of pictures on the credenza. And when I looked, I found many pictures of him in the Oval Office, and the pictures seem to be rotating. They are not always the same. But they say something about President Obama and what he finds important. Now, in contrast, let's take a look at President Kennedy. So he doesn't have anything, doesn't have a lot back on his credenza, but look at these things that he has on his desk. So he has some whale teeth, he's got a coconut shell, he's got more whale teeth, so things that are very, they're nautical, and so they're telling you, that he enjoys nautical things, right? I don't see, there might be one picture there, but not a lot of personal photos on President Kennedy's desk. Okay, I've got another quick video here about personal space.
It's in our nature. Everybody needs their personal space. But what are the boundaries of personal space for business people? That's what KLM wants to know, so they can improve their comfort level on business class throughout Europe. Leading social scientist Albert T. Hall defined personal space in 1954 as the region surrounding a person which they regard as psychologically theirs. Invasion of personal space can often lead to discomfort or anxiety on the part of the victim. What I've learned? Business people really appreciate their personal space. That's why KLM lets you sit next to an empty seat, because that's what you'd want if you had the choice.
Okay, that's although it's a commercial, it is a great example of people invading personal space. Okay, then we have acoustic space. And this is just really the area over which your voice can be comfortably heard. So when I'm in a classroom, acoustic space could be that entire room because I am speaking louder, my volume is louder, because I want to make sure that every student in the room can hear me. But normally, I don't talk that loud, right? So acoustic space is just the area in which your voice can be heard. Okay, and that concludes part 2.